And I know times like these.
Hi guys, so we're good. Okay guys, so safety first obviously with this. So to take your battery tray off, 3 bolts there which are 8mm, and then one 10mm like a plastic cap bolt. So basically that you'll see in a minute, you've just got to lift that up because that just locks under that. And obviously when you're putting it back together, make sure you take that clip off, put it back in, and then put the clip back on. So basically all we're going to do is disconnect the live from the car obviously, so no airbags can go off. So there you go. Carbon edge steering wheel, so we thought we'd do a video. We have watched other people's videos, so we've got a little bit of a gist of where we're going at. So basically we've been told we need to stick a screwdriver, Allen key type thing underneath there. Now looking at the other ones with the, basically there's a bar in here that's going to attach like that when we press in there. So I've got my Allen key ready. We're going to go, there's a little hole underneath there. We've seen from other people's experiences it's a bit of a tricky job this, so we'll see how we go. Right guys, so we've been fiddling, so I thought that was a good tool to be fair, because it worked well, it didn't slip off or anything. So basically you're going to go from that angle behind. We did the side ones first and I had to turn the steering wheel to that orientation there to get in at the angle. So you've got to basically go in and then sort of pry it apart like that on each side. Now I did that side and then that side clipped back in, and did this side and that side. So when you've done one side, get your fingers in there, do the other side, and you'll find, and then the bottom one. And what I'll do is I'll show you now basically what you're doing. So you can see there you've got 2 spring clips, and this is why we've used a big flathead. So you can see that there, and obviously it's got a stopper there as well, so it's only going to go so far. So if you feels like you've gone past, you know, make sure you can feel that. Once you get onto there, unclick that, like I say, hold it from that side, unclick the other one, and then the last one, I don't know how it works, but basically you've just got to just push on that there, and it just unhooks over that. So basically now that's off, obviously we're going to undo the little connectors in there. There is a zip tie and stuff on there and a little push clip on there, so we'll get these undone and then we'll come back to you. Okay guys, so we've got the airbag off. Obviously there's 2 clips up at the top there, just normal electrical clips. You push it down and pull it out, so we've pulled both of them free. We've cracked off the 16mm bolt here, which is going to be pretty tight, so you need 2 of you, one holding on the steering wheel and one on there. So obviously once that's off, it's just a case of, so what you do is leave the bolt in at a certain amount and wiggle that free and then remove the bolt. So basically this way, just save you getting a bust nose or something like that. Quite a long bolt. So we take that out once you've cracked it off that spline there. So obviously remember where it is, there's a little marker at the bottom there. So obviously that's, we'll put it to perfectly straight. So obviously that's going down there, and it just stops you from pulling that and whacking yourself in the face. So that's off. So what we'll do now is we'll go inside, we'll show you how to remove all these and attach them to the new steering wheel, and then we'll go from there. Right guys, so we've got it off. So obviously both steering wheels, they're identical because obviously we've not done this before. So basically on the back of each of these is T25 torque. So obviously one on that side, one on that side. So you get to that point. Now what you've got to do is we've got a dead thin sharp screwdriver, and we've pried the earth off the steering wheel. We've obviously undone them, and we can see that that sits over there. So we're just trying to keep it as uniform as it is. So first of all is these ones. So basically you're just going to get it behind there, and they're actually pushed in on like a rubber hole. So we'll take them out, and you can see these are what hold it in basically there. So we're just going to release those, which like that. Same with this one. This hasn't got a screw in it, but it is tight, so get your fingers behind it and pull it up like that. So this one we're going to pull down there because that's out of the way. So as you can see, all that lot there is tied in by that back bit. So I'm going to leave that back on there just to hold them in place. Goes in. Just like that, and turn it over, and what you'll find is this piece is just pushed in. So obviously once you've got to there, unclip that, it pushes into that bottom bit there, the outside, and you can see, so that's going to come off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire that like that, because that's how it's going to go together. but we've got to get this wiring loom, as you can see, around the back of there. So we'll turn that back over. So as you can see, that rubber there now, it isn't actually attached to the wheel. It's sort of, so you're going to clear that, and you're just going to pull them wires back over the top of that. So basically it's just one of those, and we can't go wrong at that point, I hope. So we'll get that. Like that. So we know that goes exactly like that. Now what you've got to do is, that's got to go into that little line there. That one's got to go in there. So just push that in. In there. And then make sure that that's in there and that's in there before going right back. Same with that side. So obviously line up your outside one, sis. Which you can see goes in there. Wire back in there. And then just holding it in place so we can mess with this. So obviously this here has to tuck behind there, which is the way that we took it off. So that's now in how it was. So that's now done and dusted, that's all done. So we'll turn that back over without any of these pushed in. We're going to make sure, because this is the last bit to come off, so we'll put that back on. So that clips on there, just like so. Turn it back over, make sure the wires are free in there. So these have to go in sort of square like that, so obviously dead square, and then just push them down. Obviously when you tighten the back of them up with the screws, that'll secure them back in anyway. Same with that one. Which goes on there. And then we've got the bottom piece. It just pushes in the hole. Struggling with this one. There we go. So that's it basically, guys. So you're back to your wiring loom now. Obviously that just rested above there. So that's going to plug into there. That's going to tuck into there. There's a little clip on the back of there. Obviously the original one just goes back onto the original hole. And then with this push clip, so obviously when we're taking it off on there, you may have bent a little couple of the tabs there. So obviously when you're reinstalling it, you're going to push it down and you square, I don't know if you can see on the video, there's a little square that hooks it in there. Once you've got it down, do make sure that you tighten all these little tabs. So basically get your little flathead, push them in all the way round, and that will re-secure that, as you can see there. So basically that's the swap over done. Okay guys, so obviously there's auto and manual versions on these. We've only ever seen the manual versions. So same as what you was watching before, we've just done exactly the same thing. The only difference on this one is when you take these ones off, there's two T25 screws there which is going to hold your paddles on at the back. So obviously you can see there, we just took that screw out. So that's there, other one's there, that's out. So now we've just got to decipher how. So once they're off, we'll try and keep everything together again. I'm just going to flip it over so you can see they're loose, but the wires do go through. So it was this next. And that one clips into that. So that's not needed. So that bit was easy. We just needed to feed that through there and feed the ribbon through there. And then again, keeping it all together so you know where everything is. Turn it back over. So that bit now, with that taken out, that one taken out of there. So you can see on those is two little blue connectors. So you're just going to undo those. there. A bit of a flat side, so we lose that. This is the fiddler's bit.
Battery might die.
So we've disconnected both of those there. Now what we're going to do is, you can see that bit there pokes through. Tiny little hole there. So obviously you're going to take that one out and we're going to install it to this one here. So there's, that goes through. Into there. And then obviously that bit locks into there. So that's one done. And we'll get the other one. So you can see on there, it doesn't look like there's a hole, but there actually is. It just pushes through. So you'll see, I presume it's for water tightness. And that one through there. And then you're going to just get that lined up. Just so, obviously in the back there, so you can see the pedals are back working again. So basically that's the only extra bit you need to do. Once they're through there, you're going to go back on with your steering wheel controls and just going to feed all them wires back in again. So that's fairly straightforward. So that's just the extra bit that you need to do for the automatic version. Okay guys, so back in the car, so you can see there as we built it all up. So we're just going to double check nothing's in the way. All the wires are there. So obviously, like I said before, there's a little notch there which is going to go into that. Make sure when you take it off, I didn't mention before, make sure you do not move that within a couple of mil. So you can see there's a little keyway there. We put the wheel dead straight, so what you should feel is that should just wiggle on. Oh, it's not quite. And then just make sure that that's going into that slot. So obviously you can see there the ring can't move now, obviously, so that's on. So we'll just get the bolt. So while you're doing this, just double check all your little wires are tucked in, because obviously you don't want to trap the airbag when putting that in. So that's tucked behind there, that one's tucked in there, and then tighten this one up. I've lost the spanner. There we go, it's rolled under the car. So we'll get that on. Like I say, it's a 16 mil on this, what you'll need. So obviously we've got quite a hefty bar on this, with it being the steering wheel, so we're just going to get that. You hold that with your knee, and you're going to get it as tight as you can. So basically, wheels all back on. So we're going to get the airbag. So as before, we're going that way, so we're going to fold that down. If you can remember from before, there was one click in there, like that. That one back in there. That one back in there. Again, double check everything. You can see everything's out of the way. All wires are tucked in. You don't want to catch anything in here. Make sure they're seated beforehand, because I would imagine it's a nightmare to get off if you trap anything. So once all that's in, you slowly guide that into position. You'll feel it sort of lock. So once you're at that position there and you can feel everything sort of straight, click back on. So you'll see there, horn function still on. Obviously we need to connect the battery to make that work, but that's it basically guys. All done. We'll do some testing now to make sure all the controls work, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so there she is. She's connected back up, all on. So we'll just do a quick test on everything. So there we go, starts up, no warnings, only my boot open. Set time and date, because we've had the battery off, so we'll get rid of them. So volume up, down, change station, that's all working. Phone connect, let's get rid of that. Connect telephone, speak, limb. Obviously it's working because it's telling me that it can't be activated because we're not moving. And then obviously that's telling me again we can't be activated. So everything works as it should. So the big test, as on all F56s, we're all a bit wary of the horn, as you probably know, but that's it, all fitted guys. So we will be stocking these on our website. So if you've got any queries, we do a couple of different combos. Obviously the Alcantara, the carbon, there's the perforated leather. So if you've got any questions or you want to inquire about these, drop us a PM. Thanks for watching guys, see you again.
Times like this, you just take it slow. Fall asleep in the pillows. She got my heart in a chokehold. And there she goes. Heart that